Hello, my friends, here to give you a complete real estate update. Haven't seen you in 2 weeks. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about all kinds of things. We're still in the same situation as far as not enough homes getting listed, more homes going pending than being listed, inventory actually going down in the last 2 weeks. We're in a lower inventory situation. There's also been a travel ban that's been put in place. How is that going to affect the real estate market? I shouldn't say travel ban, travel restrictions. They're calling them mandatory travel restrictions have come into play. How will that affect real estate? Yes, I believe it will, and I'm going to explain how. I'm also going to talk to you about, how there's some frustrated buyers out there, sellers who are also buyers that are frustrated. There's some people blaming their agents. I've been hearing more and more of that. And I'm going to talk to you about all that. Also going to take a little peek at, are there more single families selling? Is there more demand towards single families than condos? Something we're starting to notice here, and I've been hearing about it for a few weeks and waiting on saying anything. But I am going to go through a complete real estate market update with you. So Anthony Lamacchia here with Lamacchia Realty. Let me jump into my trusty sheet that I always go over with you all, and let me start with what's going on in the market, and then I'll get into other things. I'll tell you something else. I'm going to talk about interest rates. They went below, every time I turn around, they're breaking records, but now they're actually below 3%, and that is amazing. So if I jump in here to massrealestateupdates.com, marealestateupdates.com, you will see last week, 2,585 homes listed for sale. The week before, now remember, I was out 2 weeks, so I'm going to go over this with you because I'm now doing these updates every other week for you instead of every week. I felt it was time to get back to doing them less. But you can see 2,500 and 2,600. So let's scroll down here for a second. And let's take, wait a second. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. 2,300 homes listed. The week before, 2,498. Now I jump down to pending, 2,585, 2,600, and I think that says 26. 2 weeks in a row, more homes went pending than were listed. Okay? And actually, hold on, let me think about that. Yeah, it's about 2 weeks in a row. Obviously, July 4th week threw a wrench in things because less were listed, more went under contract. But the situation, as far as the numbers appear, continues to get worse, but it's not totally worse. And I actually think it's starting to get better for buyers. I actually think it's starting to get better for buyers' agents. Yes, buyers that are listening, it is stressful on realtors too. Realtors don't enjoy showing people homes, making offers, and not getting them accepted. You can see showing activity is still up and strong. If I go down here, the amount of homes listed for sale, we are back below 11,000, my friends. Yes, we are back below 11,000. Very, very frustrating to see that happen. But what can we do? It is what it is. And people are going to have to keep having trust in their realtors, making offers on properties, putting their best foot forward. If you get it, awesome. If you don't, find another home, right? So inventory has actually gone down. It's not terribly unusual. If you look at last year and the year before, there can be a little bit of a dip here, and then it can go back up. You'll see 2018, I distinctly remember that, August of 18, inventory spiked and went above the prior year. We were all surprised. And then it's really after Labor Day when it goes up more. But demand is starting to do its normal decrease. Well, it's later than normal, but I am seeing signs of demand going from an insane level to just like a almost insane level, which is still amazingly strong for demand. Again, here we are, 2,600 homes pending a week over the last couple of weeks. Sold homes, clearly less. We knew it would be. We're not going to be, I'll tell you when it'll be back to even. August. July will make a good run to get to where it was last year, but it's going to really be August before things really improve. Then you look at the percentage of properties that go under contract in a given week. As I've talked about, we're right around the low 20s, 23% of the properties being that are for sale or going under contract. But my friends, look at this compared to last year. Last year at this time, we were around 12%, 13%. This is double. 11.5% of the properties listed for sale going pending. It is double. Think about that. Think about how crazy that is to have double the amount of homes going under contract per week than normally at this time of year. Now I scroll down, the June data did come in, and I love to talk about this. I predicted it, and many of the real estate haters said, no, prices will tumble. Okay, look at that. $483,000 average month before, 484 month before, 481. July, going to be close to 500. I don't think it'll be 500, but it will be very close. Okay, prices are not going to tumble. I'll say it again. I've said it 100 times. It is not going to happen, at least anytime soon. Not possible when you have this little inventory. Real estate is a supply and demand business. Now you come down and you look at July 1st to the 27th, so really until last night, 7% more homes listed than last July, 10% more homes pending. So remember when I had talked to you all about how we would make up some ground? Remember I discussed that. I said, and I'll be honest, I thought we would make up a lot more ground, right? I was convinced that we would, but we are making up some ground. It is happening. It's just not to the extent that we thought. And if I jump back in here to this, hold on, I'm going to jump back in and show you all. Remember what I had predicted, and it just hasn't come to fruition to the extent that I expected. I thought the homes listed would be up more up here for at least a few weeks before the 4th, maybe a month, to make up some ground. Well, that hasn't happened, and that is exactly why. Look at this page right here. I'm going to make this so everybody can really focus in, and I'm going to talk about a whole bunch more things. Reload, interest rates, you name it. 10,933 homes for sale. Last year at this time, if we go straight up, 19,000. My friends, we are almost half. We are almost half of what we were a year ago. That's why buyers are fighting over homes. That's why there's market-wide frustration. Some people throwing their hands up, and that's part of what brings demand down a little. The other thing that gets demand to, I don't want to say come down to earth, because it's not. It's still off the charts. There's an insane amount of demand out there for buying homes. But it's a little better than a month ago, in my opinion. And I want buyers and realtors to comment and tell me if you agree. The reason is people are finding homes. So when you look at the data, 2,600 homes a week going under contract. Well, every single week there's 2,600 less people looking for homes. Now, of course, there's new people, but I will tell you, there's less new buyers in the summer, okay, than there are 4 or 5 months ago. The peak every year for buyer activity, buyer demand is in the first 6 months of the year. That's when people come out in droves, and then it wanes as the year goes on, pretty much. I mean, there might be a little bump in September as a lot of new inventory comes on, but the next time buyers that are watching can look forward to seeing a lot of homes get listed, truthfully, is after Labor Day. You know, you'll see 2,000, 2,500 homes a week get listed here over the next month, and then it's going to decrease. And that is just the way it goes. You see this right here, homes listed per week. It goes down. You get to Labor Day, it really goes down. Normal for holidays. You can literally see the pattern right here. Labor Day, July 4th, Memorial Day weekend. So you're going to see it kind of wane, and then it'll shoot up after when we get into fall. But buyers shouldn't lose hope on finding homes. We've got a lot of success stories in the last few weeks of buyers that couldn't get homes or couldn't land homes for several weeks, able to land them. We have also heard a lot of success stories. I've heard a lot of success stories about buyers that made offers even though their home wasn't listed, which this got almost impossible. But they made offers even though their home wasn't listed, and they said, as soon as you accept my offer, I'm listing my home for sale. And when they did that, their offer got accepted. That kind of thing wouldn't happen 60, 90 days ago. It's even tough now still. But it always, buyer demand goes down a little bit because there's just less buyers. And I think we're starting to see that. So as we've talked about, extremely high demand, extremely low inventory. The other thing that is fueling this, you know, I keep talking about COVID and this whiplash effect, this kind of slapback effect of so many people looking to buy because they were boxed out in the spring and because there's less homes for sale. Well, here's the other thing. Interest rates. Interest rates went below 3%. 30-year fixed average interest rate below 3%. Notice I point out average, and I do this with my hand because we always run into people that say, hey, he said, it depends on the product, but the average mortgage rate, interest rate is now below 3%, and that's absolutely, completely crazy. Essentially free money, really. I mean, it really is. Now you look at, or I want to look at with you all, let's talk relo for a minute. Relocation business. This is something that's really grown. We've grown in our company in the last few years. We are constantly and regularly relocating people in and out of Massachusetts. Sometimes it's as simple as northern Massachusetts to southern, to Cape Cod, but we also do a lot of business to New York. I'm telling you this for a reason. I'm not advertising. Keep listening. California, Texas, Carolina, Illinois, you name it. Florida, all the time. Well, the governor's travel restrictions, I should call them. If you read those restrictions, they talk about needing a test and having to fill out a form before you can come back into the state or come to the state. And you have to have a negative test 72 hours prior to arrival in order to come into the state, and it's a $500 fine per day. Now, they did say, well, we're not going to pull people over on highways. We're not going to essentially strictly enforce it, but that is going to be a damper on the relocation business, particularly in the corporate relocation space. We expect to see a bit of a decrease. That will have a market impact. It will. That will have some less buyers on the street. We're preparing for it. I had a long conversation this morning with our Vice President of Relocation, Mr. Shane Bronson, and he talked about how he thinks this is going to impact things, and he's going to be putting together a video that we're going to get out there for all our relocation clients. Now, don't get me wrong. The normal, hi, I want a second home in Florida, I want a second home in Carolina, I don't really see that changing. In fact, it's even picked up in the last 60 days pretty good, and I think some of that's people wanting to leave. But now Florida is the hot spot. We were the hot spot. New York was the hot spot 90 days ago. Now it's the other way. So I expect an impact there, and I think people should be aware of that. We are putting together a program where we're going to help our incoming relocation clients and make it so that they can easily virtually see the properties that they're looking at. We're also going to do things to make it easier on people that are moving out of the state, and Shane's putting that all together now, and we will be out with an update on that this week. But I'd be lying to you if I told you that I didn't think there'd be some impact on the market. Relocation is a decent-sized portion of buyers and sellers, and I expect it to slow down a bit while these travel restrictions are in place. But that is what it is. In addition, there is some talk. There's been some articles floating out there, Wall Street Journal and some of the real estate magazines and things, talking about, is there less demand on condos because condos is essentially shared living? And is there more demand on single families? And the data is starting to point in that direction. I didn't quite buy it 60 or 90 days ago, and that's why I didn't say it to you all. Frankly, I don't necessarily buy that this will be something that's long-lasting. Americans have a very short memory. But I will tell you something, and we're going to pour over the data, and we're going to be back to you. Last year at this time, single families on the market in Massachusetts today, about 12,000. Today, 6,000. Think about that. A 46% decrease in the amount of single families that are for sale in Massachusetts right now, whereas condos are only a 7% decrease, in multifamilies 23%. What does that tell me? It tells me a few things. Less single family owners are listing. More people are buying single families. And this trend of less condo activity may actually have something to it. This might be something that we see for a period of time. Now, if you're a buyer buying a condo, do not freak out. Condo living is not going to just evaporate when it's been going on for decades. But buying a condo right now could be a better deal than buying a single family. Think about that. What does Warren Buffett say? When everyone else is scared, be greedy. When everyone else is being greedy, be scared. Okay? So think about that a little bit. because I think we might be seeing a trend there, and we're going to report to you all on it probably within a week. We're going to come out with some data on that. We're going to study monthly trends of homes listed, condos listed, single families, etc. But if you've got feedback, if you're a buyer less interested in a condo because of COVID, we want to hear about it. Comment. If you're a seller that has an opinion, comment. As I said, I expect that inventory is not going to get much better in the next 4 weeks. It is what it is. But buyers, don't freak out. Don't get disappointed when you hear that, because the amount of buyers is naturally doing this. That's what happens in the summer. As you go through the summer, there's less buyer activity. So don't let it scare you away. It's still, I don't know if I'd say well, interest rates make it a good time to buy. But it's a competitive environment. It's good. It's a really good time to sell. All right, my friends, that is it. I will be back. And, Lisa Hayford, very good agent. As an agent that works in the North Shore in southern New Hampshire, it feels like a mass exodus from the city to the suburbs. Do you think the Boston market will recover in the near future? Yes, I absolutely do. Lisa, Americans have very short memories. And I think that if we do see this, it might be a lull for a little while, but it won't continue. And I do see it in some of the data, and we are going to pour over more of the data over the next couple of weeks. But there is more demand in the suburbs. We're seeing it, but I don't know how long it'll last. And I'm going to hold most of my comments for when I see you all in 2 weeks. Remember, I'm doing this every 2 weeks now. I will be back to you all in 2 weeks on August the 10th, Monday at 3 p.m. I'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your following and appreciate your business for all of you. From all of you.